be, then I'll go. Thought that I...
Good morning. Welcome to Grand Columbia's Coffee Time Live. I'm alive and I'm having coffee. What a gorgeous day. It's about 72 degrees out. The sun is out. There's these big, those white puffy clouds that look like cotton balls. It's stunning. And of course, as always, there's this breeze going on. It's gorgeous. And yeah, I'm in a pretty good mood. Let me know if the sound is working okay. I have reason to be concerned. Rob Coleman, welcome. Good to see you guys back. Got some things to talk about today. I actually did some things this week. And as for this software, I'm really not thrilled with it. I've had some issues with it. I recorded something last week and the sound came out absolutely horrible. That's why I'm concerned now. At least in the OBS, I get live readings of what's going on with the sound. Here, you just have to cross your fingers and hope it's working. Sound is good. All right, awesome. I've been very worried about that. Okay, so I started my day off with a message, and this is not to embarrass anybody, but somebody's been asking me about Adriana, who was an attorney in Cuenca that was living in my house. And I've explained in videos before that she actually stopped being an attorney. She works for the government. She's a big muckety-muck for Osway, which is like the state. She's a director of, I don't know, data or something. I don't know. It's a very high place. It's one step away from the governor. And so the guy was asking me if she'd be available to help him. Of course, he'd be willing to pay, but he has some issue in Guayaquil, but she's not in Guayaquil, and she's got obligations. So I sent an email and said, well, I'll get a hold of her as soon as I can and let you know. But in Guayaquil, she's not really practicing. I don't know. And so I don't know. Maybe he didn't get my email. Who knows? But he sent me this. Haven't got the information. I had to pay up quite a bit of money to somebody else. Your friend could have benefit from you still sending me your friend's information so I can have it for future reference. I don't know. It seemed a little passive aggressive to me, but I do the best I can. And I said I'd try to get a hold of them, and I did. And they're on vacation, and they're on a farm now where they're unreachable. Sandy's with her. And they're basically unreachable until Monday when they return to Cuenca. When they were on the beach house, I could get a hold of them, but it was right after that. I tried to contact them and they had already left. So, I do the best I can, but, there's no guarantees. But if I tell you, look, she's not practicing in Guayaquil and she's working for the government now, and, you got to kind of take your cue and don't get mad at me. It's chill. So anyway, are they planning on resuming flights? So that's a big question, isn't it? I've got nothing more to say than I've said because they've said nothing different. Don't know, but I'm going to get to questions at the second half. Sounds perfect quality, looks really good, and the audio, great. George, you're watching on Facebook. And Mike Jarvis, you're the first guys to watch on Facebook, and I've been doing this a couple of weeks. It's simulcasting to a couple places on Facebook and to YouTube. Just thought I'd give that a try because that is something that the software can do. But until now, I haven't even been getting any viewers on it. It didn't, it wasn't seem to be making a lot of sense. So I got some things to cover today. But first, I'm going to get to the thing that I don't know. You guys, you got to be bored silly because the things that you say that you like and you want to see more of. So I already have a concept of what this is probably going to be. It's called Pinguinos, as in penguin. Pinguinos. And I believe it's going to be a mouthful of sugar. And I'm not really up for that. But I also saw these. Now, if you remember going back a month or so, this was going to be banned. Nestle's put out a statement saying they're going to ban specifically Beso de Negra because it could be considered racial. And you know, it's kind of like the Aunt Jemima thing. It's not racial it's racial, but it's not racial in a negative way. It's actually in a very positive way, as is this. And people love this to death. Haven't had them. So this I'm looking forward to. This I'm not. But I got this first, and then I ran into these, and I said, oh, they said they're going to pull these off the shelf. Well, obviously they didn't, and my guess is there was probably a fair amount of backlash. But I'm not thrilled with this Pinguino thing at all. Okay, here you go. You got a sloppy decoration. It's like this mini cupcake. What do you call them? Like hostess? A little hard. Oh, I would spit it out, but oh, it's like a bad joke. It's got kind of a kerosene taste to it. It's hard. It's doesn't expire till September. Is that 2030? No, this. But it's really it's like grainy sugar, and it's nasty. Oh, okay. These are loved so much. I don't think this is going to be like that, but we're going to check it out. I love your kisses. Except, well, you see. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, maybe it's a chocolate covered cherry. Looks like a giant Hershey's Kiss. It's got a level there, so that might be a cookie base, maybe. It's not bad. The chocolate's sweet. Everything else is really not, which is surprising because it's kind of a marshmallow thing, which would be all sugar. But I think it might be something different because it's a chocolate that's sweet. That's kind of middle of the road. It's just kind of, it's more texture than it is sweet. And the cookie's not bad. I can see why people like it. Again, not really my thing, but that's not bad. The other one is, oh my God, that was awful. I don't know how they even sell these, but it's Pinguino is a very popular brand. They sell all kinds of things. Oh, hat. This is my $3 hat. I grabbed it by accident. And then I've got my Ecuador hat, which is kind of balled up. This is especially nice because it's the Tokia. It's that ultra soft straw. This is the medium quality. And it cost me, what was it? $20. That's my Ecuador hat. And then I have my good Colombia hat, which I actually like. But again, I don't wear hats. I had somebody ask me about it, and I don't wear hats. The hats are for the video. You will almost never see me with a hat. If it's the sun is really out and there's no clouds in the sky and it's particularly hot and there's going to be a lot of ultraviolet, I might put on a hat, which means in Ecuador, I would do it maybe every 3 months or so. And here in Colombia, I think I've done it maybe once or twice in the past almost 2 years. Yeah, it's been that long. Why not eat different fruits from down there that people aren't familiar with instead of eating that crap? Well, as you say, I'm not really eating it, but good point. But I don't know what people aren't from. I've been around this stuff for 7 years now. It all seems kind of similar and normal, and I've never seen or had this stuff because I don't eat this kind of stuff. So I don't search it out. I don't look for it. And I do it because I was asked. And then I did it a while back, and hey, you haven't done that since. So I did it again last time, and I got comments on that. So I did it again this time. You know, it's like the performing monkey, I guess. So that's why. I mean, it's no big deal. I eat fruits a lot, and right now the fruit I eat the most is pear and water. I always have watermelon. That's my favorite. One of my favorite foods in the world is watermelon. But I've been eating a ton of pears for the last couple months. I'll eat maybe 3 a day, maybe 4. If they've softened up, then they come and they're like almost ripe, which is good because I'll buy, I don't know, a bunch of them. And that way they don't get bad by the time I get to the last one. So the first 1 or 2 I eat might be a little crunchy, but still has the right flavor. It's close enough. And then after a couple days, it's like perfect. Oh my God, it's perfect. Okay, so enough of that. So what's been going on? Why am I in a good mood? Well, I've been in this apartment almost 2 years. And with this lockdown, as you can imagine, climbing the walls, I'm way past climbing the walls. I'm sick of being here. I'm sick of it. I love this building and all of that. But even when I came to this apartment, it was on the small side, but it was just really convenient. And so, yeah, what the hell? Why not? You know, small side for me. I like bigger apartments. Most of my life I've had houses, and you know, I like the space. You know, like as you know, when I was living in Hiron, I rented this 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom house, and I equipped every bedroom. I just like being around that. The place was huge. It was like a McMansion kind of thing, and I love that. I love that space, and you know, the huge second floor patio that's bigger than most people's living rooms with a waterfall behind it. It was awesome. And when I get a place, I'm getting more than just the apartment. I'm getting other things. You know, it's like, where is it located? You know, that had a lot to do with this one. How is it positioned? So can I sleep at night? Am I going to hear traffic? Are there dogs or chickens? Or you take into account all of these things. And you know, I try to make the best choice I can. And you're always going to sacrifice something. I mean, I've yet to run into, whether it's in the US, here, Ecuador, I've yet to run into the place that is absolutely perfection. Even if you think it is, when you get there, you find out after a month or two, well, you know, it would have been nice if it was this or not that. You know, it's just, that's how life is. You can't expect perfection. So it really is a matter of trade-offs, and what are you willing to trade off. So I am on the hunt for an apartment. Now, some of you will know that because I posted up a few things on the Facebook page. Some of you won't know that at all. But I'm looking for an apartment, and I'm looking for something spacious. I'm looking for something in a similar location to where I am. I still love this location. And I've got 2 that I'm going to show you. They're about 2 minutes or less each clip. And it's got music. It might be loud. Just turn it down if it's bothering you. I cannot talk while it plays. Another downside of this software. So I can't walk you through it. So I'm just going to just let it play out, and we can talk about it afterwards. And if you have questions about the apartment, specifically the apartment, you can go ahead and ask that after I show each clip. So I'll show one clip. If you got questions, go ahead and pose it. Then I'll show the next clip, same thing. Then we're going to get to some news, and then we'll get to the actual question period of whatever it is you want to ask me. Been out and about, and it's been nice, and I would still feel those things of depression because every time I go out, I see more and more of my favorite things close down. I saw a lot more when I went out this last time. However, it was offset by the excitement of finding a new place and visualizing myself in each place. So this first one I'm going to show you was the very first one I looked at. The second one I'm not going to show you because I didn't take any video clips of it. It's in the same building, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So let me get to where that is. Apartment 1. Here we go. Okay, in that last shot, I looked over the roof and you could see the street up there. That's actually Bolivar Cretorce, but it's Bolivar Avenue. And you can see them just a couple doors from it. And if you were to go up there and turn right or look to the right, you would see La Fogata. And so those of you that have been here where, where the beer station is and the BBC and La Fogata, it's half a block from those. It's a great spot. It's 3 blocks, I think, or 4 blocks from the mall, which is nice. And if you go south 5 blocks, it's where I'm living right now. So it's a little closer to the mall. It's a little closer to, places that I like to go. Although in that little area there where the beer station BBC is. There was a coffee shop. I filmed there before. One time I did a little diatribe on the Forever Breeze in Armenia. That place is closed down. Really bummed out because that's the place I go to. The others I've ordered takeout from, but I don't go to them. That place I would like to, there were times I would go, I would sit, have a coffee, look around, watch people go by, feel the breeze. Awesome place. And it's gone. So try not to focus on that. So that apartment, they're still working on it. As you could see, there's a couple doors that were removed because they're doing some paint work and stuff. But that'll be ready to rent by the end of this month. And it was very nice. It was really good size. I that wasn't in the video, but I put up that it was $210. That's at today's rate of $3,800. It's actually, I think, $3,850, but it fluctuates here or there. So figure 210, 220, somewhere in that range, maybe 230. And you pay for all your utilities. It's 50,000 pesos less than here, and it's probably at least twice the size and one more balcony. So it's nice. Now it is on the third floor. On the other hand, when I went up those stairs, they're sort of outdoor. It's covered. Those of you who've been to South America, you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of things that are open to the elements, but it'll have a roof over it. So you won't get rained on going up the stairs, but as you go up, you're seeing out the wall where the garage is. And anyway, going up those stairs, it really didn't faze me at all. It was the third floor, but it didn't seem like it. And I actually went up and down those stairs, I think 3 times in total for a particular reason. And I really didn't give it much thought. Now, the other apartment in that building is on the 4th and last floor, and it's the penthouse apartment. So it takes up, there's 2 on each floor. And then you've got the penthouse. So there's 5 in total apartments. The first floor is a parking garage and a medical office. So you go up to the 4th floor and you go in, and it's just huge. It's got this huge wooden sauna that you could probably put 4, maybe 6 people in. And then you go into the next room and it's got this, I don't know what you call it. It's these big round garden tubs maybe, but it's not a tub like tub shaped. It's more like almost swimming pool shaped. And you can put a few people in there easily, and jacuzzi. It's up on a pedestal thing, and it's very nice. Plus, there's a shower thing that you can take. So I thought that was very nice. And so you go through and you look at the 3 bedrooms, but then there's stairs. Well, they don't go around. They just kind of go like that, because the top floor is also part of that apartment. And so I go up there and I look, and the first thing you see is this gigantic wood floor room with a little balcony, but it's this gigantic wood floored room. That room is bigger than my 2-bedroom apartment right now, that single room. And there's another bathroom. I think there were 3 bathrooms altogether there. And then you turn right and you go to this outdoor patio. It's not as big as one I had at home, but it's pretty big. It's bigger than this room. And so it's an outdoor patio. Plus there's a little thing there where you can hang your clothes to dry, built into it. It was actually pretty nice design. And then this was a thing that's like, it got me hooked. To your right is this wall of glass with 2 sliding glass doors. And in here is a big room. And that wall of glass, just all kinds of light. All the light available goes in there. And I'm looking at that going, what a perfect studio. What a perfect studio. You can have those doors open. It's cool and breezy. and you got all the light in the world, natural light, so you don't get this kind of shading like I have here. Because, I need to buy lights. One, there's no room for it. Two, it's out of my budget right now. So, it's one of those one day kind of things. Place like that, you don't even need it, unless you're doing it at night. And I don't do them at night. So, this place was like perfection. 4th floor, yeah, sure, but no big deal considering what you're getting. A 2-story thing that's as big as a house, that's got these extra amenities that are kind of nice. I mean, I wouldn't look for those, but it was pretty awesome. Now the price for that was 1,200,000 pesos, which is, help me out here, about $310, I think, which would stretch my budget. But here's the deal on that I was thinking, that when all this is gone and things get going and I've got people coming down and want to go around, I've got the car and I can take them around, that place is big enough I could actually give them a portion of that apartment where we don't even have to cross paths, where they could basically rent it while they're there and have something right in the best part of town, totally secure and reasonable price, and they don't have to contend with whatever unknown places. So I'm thinking, well, I can get some money back and put it back into my budget and provide a pretty good service for people that come by. So I'm thinking, this is perfect. They're not getting back to me, which is a problem here. And this has got to be, I've got to add this to my list of things I don't like about here. It's hard for me to come up with things. I think I'm up to 4 things. I'm trying to get to 10, but even if I get to 5 or 6, I'll do that video, because there's not much here I don't like. But this really bothers me. It kind of pisses me off sometimes. I'm ready to rent that place. I'm ready to do it because it is a bargain and a half for what is there, and it would suit what my plans really well. But if you have questions about these apartments, go ahead and ask now, and I'll take a look here in a second. But they're just not responding. So it's been 2 days. So in the meantime, the search goes on, because I've run into this before, and it's not it doesn't happen with everybody all the time, but there's some people that just don't take anything seriously. And I have a feeling that this woman, I kind of know, even though she doesn't work for an agency, she's doing this like as a sideline for whoever owns that building, because she immediately tried to sell me some other apartments that she knew of. It's like, well, these are the ones I'm interested in, because location means a lot to me. And the footsteps going up those stairs actually mean very little if the footsteps to the things that I frequent every day normally, it's more than a trade-off. So I'd much rather go up 3 or 4 flights of stairs and be within a few blocks of things that I need, like the ATM is a half a block away instead of 10 or 13 blocks away. And if you need something quick, yeah, I'll take that 3rd floor, but be close to those kinds of services. Being, close to the mall, that kind of thing. Because sometimes you might find yourself in a hurry, and my lollygagging, for half an hour might not fit into the schedule. So anyway, that's the thing there. And I would rent it if she got back to me today or tomorrow. I would say yes. They typically want a cosigner here, but I don't have a cosigner. I have people that probably would, but I'm not going to ask them. I would rather tell them, no, I won't cosign. They're not so big on a ton of months deposits, like in Medellin, where they kind of want 6 months. You'll hear it here once in a while, and you just say no. I offer 1 month rent and 1 month deposit. That's my deal. If you can do it, we can keep talking, and no cosigner. And so I make that proposal. So I made that proposal on that apartment. Um, and there's another one that I made the same proposal, which I'm going to show you next after I take a look, see if there's any questions. I can't see, it's a little small. And he also accepted that proposal on the next one. So that's available, and I could rent it tomorrow for, for the end of the month, make my move. This place is already paid for through September to the third week of October. This is already paid for. So to leave, all I have to do is pay him for the final week to November, and then we're square. I won't be living here for 2 months, but it's already paid for, and it's a lot easier than dealing with hassles. And plus, I get my security deposit back. Gives me lots of time to comfortably move and clean the place and paint it, which is a requirement here. When you leave an apartment, you need to paint it. Okay, what do we got? Thanks for taking the apartment video. Does it have a garage for your car? Absolutely does. And only 2 apartments of the 5 right now have cars. And so she said you can use whatever is there indoors. There is on-street parking if you want it. That would be fine in that neighborhood. There are people there that do it. But there's plenty of parking, but you get 1 assigned space, which is yours. But if you have a second vehicle, then right now there's room for that, but that might go away. So yes. Yeah, daily exercise. Yeah, I think when I lived in Manizales, I lived on I think it was the 3rd or 4th floor. I didn't like those stairs because they were steep and dark. It was really dark. And that seems to make a difference to me. The stairs on this one I just showed you being really kind of outdoors. It's well lit. The stairs are wide. They're normal step stairs. I don't know. I as bad as out of shape I am, and I'll mention that in a bit. Going out and walking around as much as I did, I was so, I guess this isn't a bit. I was so stiff and sore I could hardly move. Oh my God, it was killing me, which is crazy because prior to this lockdown, as you guys know that have met me here, I can go out and walk for hours and hours and hours and I'm okay. I walked the equivalent of about, maybe 30, 35 blocks over the course of 2 days. And I was so sore. It's like, I still feel a little bit in my shoulder. I have no idea why in my shoulder, but yeah. Is there ever a dishwasher? Well, if you got a girlfriend, no, dishwasher is not a thing here. You can buy them, but it's like washing machines, typical. Dryers, rare. They, in a country that is essentially coming out of economic poverty, which Colombia was. I won't say it is now. I mean, you got 20% of the people still are, but most people are not anymore. But they make up, they make up these little stories to kind of justify, to rationalize. I think it's more for their kids. Like, they never had hot water for showers. Well, part of the reasons they never had hot water for showers is because it costs money. And that's what here you'll see people go around and unplug appliances. That they only plug them in when they're using them. I mean, like a radio, a TV. If you're not watching the TV, it gets unplugged from the wall. So is there a dishwasher? Well, the dryer. So the washing machine they finally adjusted to, but the dryer, they say it ruins your clothes. And actually dryers did at one time. They don't really anymore. But they go with the ruin your clothes. So I don't have a dryer because I can't afford one. I don't have a dryer because I don't want my clothes ruined. So do they have a dishwasher? We're just not there yet. There are places in Medellin, I'm sure you see them a little more often, but again, it's not common here. It's certainly not common. I can go buy one. They're for sale. It's not like they're some strange device. It's just people. It's like, what? That would be such an extravagance. Why would I just not wash them? And I was talking to a girl about this. She says, I can wash it faster than a dishwasher. Well, that's true. And if you're one or two people, probably doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're doing, Thanksgiving dinners every day. Might not make sense. So dishwasher, yeah, it's called a girlfriend. Okay, don't hate me. What else we got? Don't announce it's a bargain. The price is kind of typical. That penthouse, that's a bargain. They're trying to see how desperate you are. Huh. I assume you mean about they're not getting back to me and they want to see. They're making a big mistake if they do that, because I'm kind of heartless about a lot of things, being most of my life in the car business, and I've owned, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cars. I don't get attached to things like that. I don't get attached to apartments that much. I mean, I'll have my moments where I might love it or something, but I'm going and looking at these apartments. Yeah, I would love to have that. It would fit perfectly. But hey, if they want to rent it to me, I'm not waiting. I'm moving on to the next one. I'll make my decision on the next one if something else comes up in my search and I might delay, or if they get back to me, I will take that place. Otherwise, I'm moving on to the next, which we're going to get to here shortly. HD Chillin', thank you. Appreciate the contribution. Can I see all the historic center in Quito, Ecuador in 2 days? What's the best way to Esmeraldas from Quito? Well, there's a direct route to Esmeraldas from Quito. Keep in mind, Esmeralda is not the safest place in the world these days. It's kind of terrorist central. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there. I'm not, you can go and it's probably going to be perfectly okay. But personally, I would not want to go there. If I want to go to the coast, I'd probably go to some of the places quite a bit south of there. Can't think of the name, but there's one that has these boat trips out to an island, it's not in the Galapagos, but it's got some similarities. It's got some animals there that are like the Galapagos, and that same boat will take you out and you can see the, whales in their pods splashing around, and there's a lot of things that go on. As for the historic center in Quito in 2 days, no. I don't know what you mean, see it. You could rush through in 2 days and see a lot, see a lot of the highlights. If you have a guide, you want to find yourself a guide that'll save you a lot of wasted footsteps. I don't know that you want to see everything in the historic district in Quito. Some of it's just not all that. Yeah, to each their own. But if you can get a gist of it, get a sense of it, kind of feel it out in 2 days, absolutely. See some of the highlights, get a feel for what it's like. Yes, hang on to your cell phone, hang on to your wallet. Pickpocketing is pretty popular in Quito. It's it's not quite a televised sport, but it's like if you go to Cuenca, it's much calmer. Even Guayaquil, if you're in the nicer areas of Guayaquil, it's pretty nice. It's pretty safe, at least during the daytime. What else we got? How much should it cost you to paint your apartment, labor and paint? What did they tell? 60,000 pesos, $20, I think. Somebody's going to come and scrub it for 20,000 pesos. Oh, let me tell you about I checked on the moving van, and to move all my stuff, I gave them an itemized list: a couple TVs, a desktop computer, a crappy monitor, a decent monitor, big round table, a dinner table, the 4 chairs that go with it, a 2-person sofa, 2 big stuffed armchairs, a queen size bed, kitchen full of stuff, a partridge in a pear tree. 200,000 pesos. They will come with boxes. They will pack everything up. So I don't have to do anything ahead of time if I don't want to. They'll pack it all up. They'll put it in their truck. They'll take it there. They'll carry it up the stairs. And I told them that it's going to have, maybe 4 floors, whatever. I don't know yet, but it's a good chance of upstairs. He discounts that because he's got a couple people that work for him. They're on his payroll. Doesn't matter. They just do the job for, I think he pays them like 20,000 each or something. Plus he's got the truck. Plus he'll be there to supervise. They'll wrap the TVs and bubble wrap. So they do all of that. Put the stuff in the rooms where you direct them to do it. And it's 200,000 pesos. And somebody tell me it's probably $65, $67. Something like that. So it's very affordable, even for a pauper like me, to make a move like this. Okay. Looking forward to your Airbnb. Now, it won't be Airbnb. I'm not going to sign up on Airbnb. I don't want it to be. I'm not interested in that. I've got too much going on in my life. But for you guys or people like you that are coming down here, we're in contact, you watch the videos, you want me to, take you around, whatever, that makes sense because you're going to be the focus of that anyway. And it's just more convenient for both of us. If you've got a place to stay, it would be real easy for you. And certainly easier for me because I don't have to chase after where you are and wait and whatever. You'll be right there. Just knock on the door. So no Airbnb, but there will be that. One interest, do the cooperatives pay in Colombia? I get 9%. Oh yeah, I think I saw this. I've been really busy this week, and I've got some emails that I was going to try to answer this afternoon, but I saw a comment or a message. I don't know. It's Colombia with an OO, by the way. Colombia. Christopher Columbus. His name was actually spelled with 2 O's, and it wasn't bus. It was Colom. So somebody said, "Well, that's in Spanish, but in English." Well, but he wasn't English, and he didn't spell his name that way. So anyway, I don't know. Here, I do know that the JEP Cooperativa, which I was a member of in Ecuador, was at the time running about 10.5%. There are a lot of risks. I would not have my money actually in either country. And I don't say that. Colombia does not have a track record of problems. Ecuador has a big track record of problems. Places just going out of business. I mean, it happens and you're screwed. You're just out the money. And Colombia doesn't have a long history of that. But if you're from the US or Canada, your money is going to be more secure there. So leave it there. Now, if you're in a situation where you have to do the investor visa, okay, well, that's a different story. Do your minimum. But I do not know what the percentage is here. It's probably less because things are far more secure here. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was, maybe around 5%. I don't know, but I'll see if I can find out in the next week or so. You might take a look on the internet. You can probably find it there quicker, but I will try to find out. is the highest in Ecuador, 8.5%, not 9%. I don't know what it is now. When I was there, it was 10.5%. It's like everywhere else. It's going to fluctuate. There's US $32,000 FDIC insurance in Ecuador, but would they actually pay up? Well, it's not an FDIC. It's Ecuador's version of it. And in the past, it has not helped people out. It's been in place. As a matter of fact, the last big scandal, I don't remember the details now, so I'm kind of shooting from the hip, but it was someplace out of Guayaquil and folded up and everybody lost all their money. And there was, the insurance didn't, it's like stand in line till the money runs out, and somehow it ran out for everybody except, a select few. So no, I wouldn't be counting on that. Unless you have to, I wouldn't do it. Hi from Helsinki. Hello. Okay, let's go on to apartment number 2. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to cover some pluses and minuses of this place. Apartment's gorgeous. The kitchen is amazing, and I cook a lot. I'm not a trained chef, but I've been trained, and I've cooked my entire life, and I'm a really good cook. And I don't like to cook every day, but I like to cook at least several times a week. And this kitchen is amazing. It's got all the storage I need, all the counter space, which is sorely lacking here. It's one of the things that this constantly bothers me here. So those are great. Stunning place. It was remodeled recently by the last guy, who was a Japanese guy, and you can pull out walls. You can do whatever you want to do, and he did. There's actually a third bathroom that now is just a storage closet attached to the kitchen. So you go in, there's a pantry, and then there's a doorway, and beyond it used to be a bathroom. So the plumbing's still there, and you could put a toilet in there or something, but it's just a room with a skylight. The upside of this, another upside is there's skylights all over the place. There's skylights in the bathrooms. So during the day, you don't need to turn your lights on anywhere. It's just so bright. And the first bedroom that I showed has this big window with the light coming in from that. So that also would be a great room for a studio. Now, the downsides, it's on the 5th floor. And this is kind of in the middle. It's not as dark as Manizales, and the steps are normal steps. But the 5th floor, it's like I got up there and it's like, but I'm fat and out of shape, so that's the downside. On the other hand, you're not going up and down every day. Most days you're going to go down, go do your thing. You're going to come back. You're going to come up once. And for that extra couple flights of stairs to live in a place as nice as that, I'm inclined to say, to hell with that. I'm not going to let that stand in the way, because this place it's stunning. And I apologize. I really didn't plan ahead. I go and I pull my phone out. Now, the phone takes really nice videos, but it's not wide angle. And so it's hard to actually see a lot of things that I'm showing because the field of view is really too narrow. But I remember, and I figured this is better than nothing. And that happened in both. Yeah, I've been preoccupied a lot lately because there's a lot of things that go into, planning this move. And anyway, so the 5th floor. The other thing is, it's really not suited to do what I said that penthouse would be good for. So, visitors aren't going to want to come up to the 5th floor because it is a hike. And it's funny because why did the 4th floor at the other place not feel like it? But this 5th floor felt like the 8th floor. I don't know. Well, so visitors aren't going to want to do that. And the way the rooms are, yeah, I could do a bedroom, but it's really not set up the same way. And I really like my privacy, and that would just be like having a roommate, and it would bother me. And it has nothing to do with the people. It's just how I am. Where the penthouse thing, they can be secluded. They can have their total privacy and have everything within their reach. And I can still live there at the same time and be in the same situation. See, there it would work. In this place, it wouldn't. So that would be out the window. And it is more money than I'm paying now, although not a lot more, but it's still more money. And I wouldn't have any way to offset that. It does have its own parking garage for a car and a motorcycle, assigned places if you so choose. The neighbor's really nice. He told me that there's somebody from the U.S. that lives in that building, which is pretty surprising. But the other thing is the location. This is, to me, the perfect location. I'm 2 buildings away from the mall. How handy is that? Although the mall isn't my thing, I do like to go there sometimes. But my favorite supermarket is across the street and half a block. The best restaurants in Armenia, and I don't mean best as in they're ultra expensive, but they're very nice. They're upscale, but still good prices. They're right there within 3 blocks. From 1 to 3 blocks are what I call it restaurant row. There's just all these really good restaurants. I've shown a couple in the videos. So that's kind of nice. My favorite taco place, he moved and he's out of my area. Well, if you go north another 13, 15 blocks, whatever it is, from here to that apartment, he's literally across the street, catty corner. He's right there. I mean, I could see it from the balcony. There's his place. So that's pretty cool. Plus, there's all kinds of other things. You could see the Texas Burger across the street, which is kind of nice. It's not all focused on food, but you want to consider those things. So you've got a lot of things going on there. You've got a financial thing that's 2 doors down. You got a bank across the street the other way. It's all there. ATMs are in the mall. So those are real positives. So it's a good size apartment. It's an amazing kitchen. I'd kill for that kitchen. Downside, it's on the 5th floor, and you can't really do a lot with guests there. And I hesitated on the rent for a while, but in the scheme of things, I mean, it's not even $300. And when I moved here, it was $260, but with the exchange rate is down to $210. But my budget has always included for over $300. Now, the only thing I would worry about is what if the exchange rate trashes, and I won't be broke because my finances, as I've told you, oh my God. Everybody's still there. I don't know what happened. My phone went crazy, and the internet timed out for a moment. Okay, so let me get to the questions. Do they have an Exodo store there? I don't actually like Exodo that much, but if you mean in Armenia, there's, I think, 3 of them, but they deliver to your house. So whether you want to get a waffle maker or you want to buy groceries, you can order it on the Rappi app, and they'll bring it to your house. The nearest Exodo to me is Unicentral, which is about 15 blocks from my house. So if I move until this lockdown, I only bought something at Exodo once. I've been a few times, been through it, but I prefer Olympica, which is actually next door to this apartment. All I need, let's see. Would traffic be an issue for your privacy needs? Not quite sure what you mean. You mean being right on Boulevard, is the traffic going to be kind of loud and cause a problem, bleed into the apartment so that it, be kind of noisy? I was absolutely concerned with that. And on the balcony, you go out on the balcony, it overlooks it, and yeah, you're hearing the traffic. Although it's kind of interesting, actually, but you're hearing the traffic, that's true. But you close the glass door and you go to where you would be sitting on a sofa, and I don't know if it's double pane glass. I didn't look into it that much, but I wasn't hearing it, and I was concerned about that. And of course, the bedroom's on the back side, and on the back side of the bedroom, there's nothing. There's no, main street. There's a little residential street that you almost never see cars on. So no, I don't see that as a problem there. I went into it saying this might not work, not just because of the 5th floor, but because of the traffic. But then actually being in the apartment with bumper to bumper peak time for traffic, closed the door and it was fine. So if that's what you mean, no. I'm 70, no elevator. Yeah, you probably wasn't leaning. It's not going to be for everybody. I might be old. I'm 66 years old, but outside of being out of shape from this thing, I'm a pretty healthy person. When I watch videos and I tell you that, I've been sick or something, well, we all get the cold or the flu or whatever, the COVID, once in a while, but I'm not a sickly person. It's one of the things about Cuenca is I had to leave there because I was sick with pneumonia all the time. I can't live like that. I'm not used to it. My life, isn't like that. And I never want to go back to being sick in bed. But prior to that time, I really never had anything except what people normally have. So, Came in. Hey, Reese, how you doing? Came in late. Do you have a hair out date on your current play? Do you have a? I'm not quite sure what you're saying. Um, do I have a checkout date, a leaving date? Yeah, but I'm right at the time. I'll be giving him almost 2 months notice to leave. So, that part will be fine. I have not told him yet because I really want to be sure I have a place before I tell him. I don't want to put him in the middle of I'm leaving and oh by the way now I'm staying kind of thing. So I want to be sure this first step where I find a place I want and then lock it down. And then I'll let him know, but I know that I'm letting him know in plenty of time and I'm going to make sure the place is clean. I've already talked to people about it, coming in and painting as I mentioned. So all of that, he'll be fine. Plus for 2 years, he had a tenant that always paid him at least 3 weeks early. Any women? There's women everywhere here. Are you kidding me? Lost it for a second. Good now. Yeah, it went out. It was on my end. Something happened. My phone went off and the screen went dead. It did not lose its feed because it will stay on for a little bit and then keep trying to reconnect itself. So I don't know what happened. Heard a lady talking. No. Okay. Do I have a hard out date on your current place? I could extend my lease if I so choose. I mean, I don't have to leave here. I just want to. Like I said, I've been here 2 years. It was not a big place to begin with. And as you can imagine, I mean, it's feeling claustrophobic. I mean, it really feels okay. This will insult people that are actually in prison cells, but to me, it's as small as like if I was in a kitchen attached prison cell. I mean, it's just not fun for me anymore. And so I'm ready to go. Okay, let me get back to comments and there, turn that one off. All right, we're running long on the apartment deal. So let's get to some news. Got 4 items here. All right. Where is it? Okay. From this Saturday, Catholic temples or churches in Armenia will be open. I just found it kind of interesting. They've passed a federal law that, or regulation or whatever, that says that churches can now be open. I'm really surprised it's taken this long, but they've got to comply with certain things. There's a list here. You can, once this is uploaded, you can go back and pause it if you want to look at the list. It's all the same stuff. You have to wash your hands and feet before you go in. You got to wear a mask. And there's instructions on how to receive communion and how to sit in the pews and all of this, but they're going to open the churches. It's funny, the national government is opening things up, and Candio, with this new mayor, she's kind of gone crazy, and I want to talk about that here in a bit. Next, we've got Parque de Cafe, the coffee park, prepares for its possible reopening as of August 21st due to a federal resolution. All they have to do is submit their plan for reopening, and then once that's approved, they can reopen. They're trying to get things back on for tourists as quick as possible. And that's another reason I think those flights are still going to be September 1st. And there's so much money by those airline companies invested to be able to open those. But we still don't know. All right, next one. EPA workers were affected EPA, as in it's not Environmental Protection Agency. They're just the government workers, trash collectors, were affected due to chemical substance in Condillo neighborhood. This article is just funny to read. Now, it's a translation, but it's as formal and as parental as so many things here. There's a lot of this parental feeling, but I'm going to quickly read through this. I'll read it as it is. So the translation's a little wonky in places. Just don't worry about it. In the morning hours of today, while the public companies of Armenia provided the collection service in the vicinity of the Condillo neighborhood, 2 of the cleaning workers were affected due to the inappropriate disposal in a container of an unknown chemical substance. Immediately, in the company of the work team of the Administrative Sub-Management, Human Talent Management, and the entity's Occupational Health and Safety Office, the workers were transferred to the healthcare center where they received timely medical attention. See, not just medical attention, but timely medical. See, we're awesome. We're the government. Fortunately, they're in optimal health conditions since the affection was not greater for which they were discharged. So they were fine, let them out. The EPA appreciates the accompaniment of the official fire department of Armenia and calls for the sense of responsibility of citizens so that they please make an adequate disposal of solid waste, since situations like these can put at risk the integrity of all people who provide cleaning services in the city. Now, what do I find interesting about this? This reminds me of a lot of the way news was when I was growing up. A lot of news was supportive of the government and would put stories out like this that are almost public service announcements. And, you know, we're great. We responded. The workers are fine. All these services, you know, tasks came to bear. You're getting your money's worth. And, you know, they were fine. But please remember to, you know, you don't see that in the news in the United States anymore. In the news in the United States, it's partisan, it's political, and it's crap. You know, it's hard to read. And I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on. It's afflicted everyone. And here you still have this kind of thing going on. Anyway, that's just me. And the last one. Now, this is the photo of the mayor. Now, what happened and why she's a new mayor? No, she's not elected. The last mayor is under investigation for corruption. And don't know if he's guilty or not guilty. There's a big push throughout Colombia to crack down on corruption. And it's kind of like shoot first and then, you know, ask questions later sort of thing. So if you're suspected of corruption, you're removed from office. If they find that he's not involved in corruption, he will be reinstated. But on a temporary basis, they're yanked from office. So they can't do any more harm. So she was appointed to fill in. People did not vote for her. She's the one that, as soon as she came to power, got together with the other mayors of Condillo, because Armenia kind of runs Condillo. And she came up with this plan to reinstate the draconian features of the lockdown that caused that protest. And she had to back off some because, you know, the powder keg was going to explode. And I find it pretty disgusting that an unelected official would not come in and just kind of mark time through these things, but instead try to inflict herself and her biases into, despite what people think. And so she was quoted as saying, "I'll be in charge until God and the law decides." I mean, people want her to resign. They want her to step down. She's refusing to do it. People are very upset with her. Now, last thing I want to look up here. I've got to pull it up on my screen, but you won't be seeing it. Okay. I was reading a lot of the comments, and this is a translated version, so it's kind of funny, but okay, this is from Hugo. And I'm reading this to you because it was so representative of almost all. I think there was one comment that said, "Oh, let her do her job." Everybody else is outraged, and there were dozens and dozens, and there was probably 60 comments, and this was just posted up. Okay, this lady is a mess and is confirmed in office as if we had chosen her. 2 public offices at the same time. She's got another job. 2 salaries, and the people are oppressed by her incoherent mandate. The whole time eating manure, and is, quote, in charge, doubling its income. You cannot lock up our life. And this is with a bunch of exclamation marks, all in capital letters. You cannot lock up our life. That's the sentiment of people here in Armenia about this lady. People are quite angry with her. She doesn't care about businesses going out of, she doesn't care about any of that. She just wants to inflict herself. Okay, we're going to get to the questions here, but let me run through what's left, and then we'll get to the actual question period. Where is the best area to stay in Quito? Let me write to you privately on that. It'll be today or tomorrow. Let me get back to you on that. Are U.S. citizens welcome there yet? They're always welcome here. People, for the most part, love people from the United States. But can you come in? No. No. Supposedly September 1st. There are some exceptions that are going on, but I don't know what they are, and generally they wouldn't apply to most people. Maybe you can extend your lease month to month until you find the right place. I wouldn't do that to him, and it's not a traditional no, I need to make up my mind. I need to make my decision, and then let him know. It's not a bad idea. In some cases, you could do it, and he might even be willing to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. I feel like I would be inflicting something. So, okay. Stony, thank you. Appreciate the contribution. Thanks for all your info on Armenia and Colombia versus Ecuador. I was in Cartagena earlier this year. Oh, it's so hot there. Ironically, I would be able to travel to Ecuador, Mexico, or Brazil, but not Colombia. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it is now. Ecuador is opening things up. Funny, because their situation with Corona is far worse than it is here, but it's just kind of overkill. Okay, sounds like deep state UN. Has Armenia been much more restrictive than Manizales? Manizales has not been all that restrictive. I think it was in the first month, but it's been, pretty loosey-goosey there, and it's not been bad here. I can go out every day, and I've explained a few times why I don't, even though it would be better for me health-wise. It's a depressing situation. I can't do the things I want to do, and going out is just even more depressing. Seeing all the, people in the streets begging, and all the places going out of business, and it's like, Jesus, I don't need to see that. I already know it's there, and on top of everything else, I just don't need that. But as far as the restrictions go, it hasn't been bad after the first month. Now with this lady, it's draconian, and Manizales really hasn't changed. She just came in, and I don't know what her issue is, but she was bought. Yeah, I don't know. Finally, I could see why. Yeah, you're always missing it, right? I'll be moving to Armenia next year. Am I able to leave Condillo? Yeah, August 1st, the buses started running again. She came in right after it. I think maybe it was on the 5th. I don't remember. She came in after it, and she closed the border of Quindío. So this is not the government's position. It's not the national government's position. It's her position. And she has closed the border. I can't get in and out of Quindío. All right, let me make this official that we're into the questions here. Hold on. It's Q&A time. It's time to start asking your questions. Remember, 4 question marks first, then ask the question. Okay. I saw my mic muted. Hopefully it wasn't muted during all that. What do we got? I have seen several sources that claim international flights start September 1st, but that tourist travel won't resume until November. Well, you're seeing that on Facebook, I'm sure, because on Facebook, particularly in the Medellin page, you're seeing all kinds of stuff from people that don't know what they're talking about. I follow the newspapers and I follow the government website, and it doesn't say that. What it says is September 1st, and it said that for a couple months, and the airlines are prepared for September 1st. And I've seen them, the government, do a lot of things to prepare for opening up tourism. As I mentioned, August 21st, the coffee park is preparing to open, probably by September 1st. So all of these things, the preparation has been in the works, and it indicates that September 1st will still be the date. There's nothing to change that. Now, at the last minute, they could come in and they could extend it. But as of now, they're not saying that. So, these people on Facebook that are posting up, oh, I heard from a friend who heard from a friend that it's going to be such and such. It's just made up. Maybe somebody did tell them that, but it wasn't anybody that knew what they were talking about. And I'm not saying I know everything, but I actively look for the official sources to see what they're saying, and they're not saying that. So at least as of yesterday. Blurry screen. Oh, I don't know. Don't know. Like I said, I'm not being thrilled with this software. So if it's blurry, I apologize. Not much I can do about it. It may not be the software. I don't ever really have this problem, but that internet did glitch for about 15 seconds earlier. It was like a little spike or something where it disconnected and then connected right back up. And, so maybe there's something going on. Maybe a car hit a pole or something. I don't know. But any other questions? Yes. All right. What is it? Any problems in the Quindío area with all this killings going on in the country? Well, it's not all this killings. There was a news item down in the south of 6 people that were killed. And then there is another news item where 12 people, I believe, in Pijao were arrested as part of a drug organization, which is in Quindío, actually. But these are, it may seem like, oh my God, that's a lot. But if you pick up, all right, Colombia is how big? We'll say Texas. So pick up the newspaper in Texas, and would you be surprised if you saw throughout Texas for the week 6 people murdered? You'd probably say it was a pretty light week, right? And Texas is a relatively safe place in the world. Would you be surprised if there was a investigation that went on for a period of time, and then there were arrests made, and they arrested a dozen people involved in drugs. The thing is, when you look at Colombia, you look at it and you want, and I don't mean you in particular, but people kind of expect to see it pristine, and they don't want to see any of that kind of stuff because it feeds into the story history of 30 years ago. But it's not like that. But everywhere in the world, you're going to find certain, maybe not in Helsinki, but you're gonna find a certain level of things that go on. But the nice thing here in Colombia is you kind of know where most of that stuff is going to happen. Now, occasionally there was a shooting here in Armenia recently, and it was a taxi driver. But there's more to the story, and I don't know it yet, and I didn't present it as a news item because I don't have the whole story. But I believe that there is something going on between who shot him and him, and that did take place. But how many shootings have we had in Armenia this year? It's a couple. So relatively speaking, crime in Armenia is almost non-existent, except for some petty crime, pickpocketing and things like that. And even that, it depends on where you go. So there's not shootings taking place all over Colombia, but shootings do take place. But most of the violence you're going to find are going to be in particular areas. And I don't mean of Armenia, I mean of Colombia. And if you go southwest in Colombia, that's going to be a relatively dangerous area because much of what was the FARC, which are its criminals, are there. And there's drug activities and there's all kinds of things going on. But where that shooting took place, the government has swept in. As a matter of fact, the president is going there to give a speech, and they're going in with military, so it's not like this stuff is happening in a vacuum. The other area that can be unsafe is on the border of Venezuela near Cucuta. There's some areas there that's some pretty bad things are going on, but it's a messy area. You got no business to be there. There's no reason to be there. Just stay out of there. It's like a world of its own, some of the things that are going on. But it doesn't represent Medellin or Cartagena or Armenia or Manizales. Okay. Let me see. Screen has been blurry since maybe half of the broadcast. Seems like it's a connection issue or internet speed issue. Well, my internet speed is good, but like I said, something glitched, and maybe it's having an effect. I think this software with the OBS, I have some control over certain things. Like I could refocus here. It's all automatic. I'm left at its mercy, and so if it's a little out, there's nothing I can do about it. So yet another reason to consider dropping this and going back to OBS. Have you seen anything about requiring a COVID test before you land in Colombia as a tourist? No, I haven't. I'd be surprised if they require that, but I don't know. Those things they're not published yet. And so anything this oh, thank you. It would just be blind speculation. Safer than Chicago. Oh my God. Afghanistan is safer than Chicago. Okay. Hi. Don't get an apartment on the 5th level. It's hard to get where with your groceries in your hands or even with empty hands. I don't like the 3rd floor, only with an elevator. Well, you got a good point. But as far as the groceries go, they deliver. And I don't even have to order it online I can go to the grocery store and buy my groceries. And they've got guys there that run and get you taxis and bag up your groceries and do all that stuff for, like 50 cents. And they would take it right up to my apartment. I just, bring them and they'll carry them up to my apartment if I want. Or I can just order online. They'll bring it up there. So there's nothing that I have to actually carry up there except myself. But I get your point, and I've given this a lot of thought. But that is not an issue. It's definitely not an issue. Coleman, thank you. I appreciate the contribution. We have murders also here in Helsinki. Now, I thought that was just on the, whoa, look at that name. Jukka Hakkarainen. I don't know. Sorry, I just butchered your name. I thought that was just in TV shows and in movies. I mean, lately there's been a few shows in Iceland, which are quite good, actually, interesting. As far as visiting Colombia, I have a flight ticket, American Airlines, for September 29th, returning October 10th. So far, American Airlines show it's still scheduled. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what more to say about it. Okay, that's a side conversation. Don't need that up. Okay, question. We know your favorite place is not Medellin. I like it. It's an awesome place. It's just I wouldn't live there. However, I usually stay in Sabaneta. Sabaneta is on the end of the South Metro line, very easygoing, unlike Medellin, similar to Armenia. No, I know the area. It's a nice neighborhood, and it is different, of course. You have the same thing in every city. You have areas of different flavor, a different environment. That's more of a suburb feeling place. It's not as modern in some ways. In other words, some older residences and things. But it's a very nice place, a pretty place, good place. It's still not for me. It doesn't mean it's not good. It doesn't mean it's not for you. And it has become, I will say, a popular alternate place to live in Medellin. But I won't say it's similar to Armenia, because Armenia is pretty unique. It's pretty unique. Armenia is what I call the real Colombia, and anything in and around Medellin is kind of a different thing. I shouldn't say it like that. It's not that they aren't Colombian. It's just a different type of Colombia, and it's more commercialized. People are a little bit different. They're little more distant than here. I don't know how to explain these things, because I'm not saying that people aren't friendly. They're not, that they're distant there. I'm not saying that, but the level of interaction you'll have in Armenia will be far more intimate than you will have in a place like Bogota or Medellin. Would you consider doing a podcast about conspiracies? I'm not big on conspiracies. To me, they either are or they aren't. And if there's evidence to believe something, I don't call that a conspiracy. Conspiracy and conspiracy theory is a phrase that has been created with a meaning of, if you hear it, if he's giving conspiracy theories, then he's got a questionable character. He's probably a crackpot, and you can't believe anything he says about such and such a topic. That phrase is used as a weapon. I find it really disgusting, because people should be able to discuss anything. Nothing should be off the table. Race, religion, we should be able to talk about whatever it is, and not be worrying about offensive. Although people should also go back to a time when they could talk about these things without getting personal, without being offensive, which online, that's just not a possibility. But would I do it? Yeah, I would, but I wouldn't do it on a conspiracy, but I might do it on something. For example, I wouldn't mind, and I've done a little bit on the idea of the lockdown. You know, these lockdowns have, after 6 months now, have proven to be no better, in many cases worse, than places who did less or no lockdowns. And that's just a statistical fact, you know. So that would be called a conspiracy theory by, you know, people that want to turn it into something political, but it's a statistical fact. And so, you know, I would happily argue about why lockdowns shouldn't have taken place with hindsight. Couldn't say that beforehand because you didn't have the facts. So beforehand, that might have been a conspiracy theory, but now that the facts are there, you can actually, you know, make that argument. So I guess that's a differentiation. I know it's not Finland, but Lilyhammer is. That was a great show. I was so disappointed. That went 3 seasons. I love that show. I absolutely love that show, and I was really disappointed when it ended. It seems like some of the best shows just don't make it. I don't know why. We saw some great condos. I wasn't sold on the area. Yeah, I mean, it's you know, you find the place that feels like home to you, and for many that will feel like home to them. And God bless you, live there. I'm not saying it's bad. I tell you about my feelings about things, and you can, you know, take it or leave it. So, you know, I've nothing disparaging to say about that neighborhood. There's a lot going for it, but it's not home for me. It doesn't do it for me, but it certainly could for a lot of people. But even here in Armenia, there's places that are not home for me. I found this amazing apartment for 700,000 pesos in a nice neighborhood in San Jose. I did a video in that neighborhood, but it's on the south end of here. And it's a neighborhood that doesn't get these breezes. I get them once in a while, but it's not like here where it's every day, all day long. I love those breezes. It's a natural air conditioning. And even when it gets up into the, you know, low 80s, I sit in my apartment and I'm comfortable. And in San Jose, it doesn't have that. And while it's a beautiful neighborhood, there are things, it's not near some of the things that I enjoy about being here. And so I would have to make a hike to them or use the car, and I want to use the car or take a bus or a taxi or something. And I don't really want to have my life around that. I'd rather walk up and down stairs every day, but be near the things that I like to be near. Price was tempting, and the apartment was, it had an elevator in the building too, and it's next to a park. I mean, it would be a beautiful place. And if I weren't so particular, you know, maybe I would go for that. They keep bothering me. Are you still interested? No, I didn't even go see the place. I just sent a message asking a couple questions. So, you know, we all have the things that we're looking for. We all have the things that we want. I know, you know, if you get to a certain age, if you don't know what makes you happy and what makes you comfortable, then you're not thinking about it enough. I know what I like, and I found it, and so I'm good. And that's why I have no future plans outside of some traveling in Colombia to go anywhere else. And here I am moving, and where do I want to move? Pretty much the same place. I just need a different environment. I got to get away from this. That has more to do with it than anything else. Had I not been trapped in here for a number of months, I'd probably be signing a new lease, you know, in a month or two. So that's the deal. I think we're about done. Take one last look at the comments here. Did you teach your friend sell her flat? No, during this, nothing's moving. But that's a pretty awesome place. I actually asked her if she would consider renting it, but no, she's going to. They have planned. They need to sell it to do some other things that they're going to do. And when this is all over, she'll probably sell it. In dollars, it's only $50-some thousand. That's a pretty amazing price for where it's located. It's a couple blocks from this apartment that I'm considering right now. It's right there near the supermarkets, 4 or 5 blocks from the mall. It's upstairs. I think it was 3rd or 4th floor. So, it's up some stairs, but it's a gigantic apartment, and it's got an awesome security system. It's awesome security system. Kitchen's a little small, but it's big enough. So I asked her if she would rent it, but no, they really need to sell it. I think when this is over, they probably will sell it. Lockdown isn't medical. It's a political thing. Nothing to do with your health and well-being. Everything to do with your money. Well, I tend to agree with you. I do not believe that these lockdowns originally were political. I think these lockdowns were based on a lot of bad information out of the WHO and not knowing how bad this was going to be. I mean, airborne viruses are not that common. Airborne contagion. So for this to have airborne contagion and to act as fast as it does, it could be pretty catastrophic. It turns out that it wasn't such a big deal. It really is, even though the symptoms are different, the overall illness really is more in line with the flu. And the same people that die from the flu are susceptible to die from COVID. And the stats are very similar now. As time goes on, it keeps going more and more in line with that thought. So I don't think, my personal opinion is originally it was just through an abundance of caution, but then politics came into it. And there could very well be some things in the background, but we're not going to talk about that because that does go to kind of conspiracy theory. Although this worldwide lockdown sure does provide some anecdotal evidence. Could you just offer your landlord some extra money and avoid the painting requirement? I would assume new landlords check references on previous rentals. Generally, they will. I've got a lot of people that know me here, and so that's helpful now. Although I wouldn't ask him for the traditional policy here is when you leave the apartment, leave it the way it was. I took videos at his request, but I was doing it anyway. I took videos of each room, of issues. Some needed to be repaired, some I didn't care about, and I told him that. So I repaired the ones that concerned me, but they're still in need of repair now. It just wasn't anything that would ever bother me. And so when I leave, it'll be painted. It'll be just the way that I got it. That's the way it's supposed to take place. And your name and reputation in Colombia are really important here. It really means something. And that procedure is an important procedure here. Now, yeah, I'm paying him, but life here isn't, in Armenia, it's not all about the money. It's about other things as well. And so I would be shifting the burden for him to cope with it when he's in Bogota, when I really should be doing it turnkey ready, because that's how the thing is. As a matter of fact, it could easily send off a signal of, I got money, I can't be bothered, you take care of it, I'm buying you off. I mean, it could be, easily looked at as something kind of insulting. it's just not something I would do because I know how people feel about how things should be done. And while I will always act myself, and during these negotiations, I'm pretty clear about what I want, but I also respect how people do certain things. It's part of what I like about being here. So why would I like that about people here and then not expect that of myself? So he probably would do that, but I would never ask him. Just like I could probably find co-signers, but I would never ask anyone. If I had family here, I would, but without family, I'm not going to ask people that, even the family I've known for a number of years, I would never ask them to co-sign. Did I mention a penthouse? Yes, I did. I talked at quite some length. You can go back when this gets uploaded, and it's in the first third of this video. It's kind of early on. I just didn't show any video of it. Just in July this year, they increased the debt more than the first 200 years of the country. So yeah, okay, that's true, but it's not questioned. So sad but true. Okay, so we're almost to 2 hours here. I've never done a live video this long. Yeah, in your case, the landlord is out of town. Good answer about the cultural feelings there. Yeah, it's one of those things that there's a line that you need to find when you go to a country like Ecuador or Colombia, or pick one. I lived in Japan, as you know, for 3 years, and it was the same there. Their country is their country, and it's not for you to come in to change it. On the other hand, you need to keep what makes you, you. So all the while that you're being yourself, you always have to be sensitive about how people view things. So I'm a blunt person. I'm still a blunt person, although I do temper it a little bit with some niceties. So I combine what the expectation here is versus, how I am. I'm always careful to not be misinterpreted as being insulting. And I'm always looking at situations with that in mind. I think it's really important that if you go to a place, I don't mean you fall in lockstep and you become a native. I mean, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is you have to be aware and cognizant of why their society is the way it is. And it's interesting because at times you're going to find that the way other people do things is superior. And you're going to find more things based on what you're familiar with. You're going to find things that it's inferior. And you got to take the good with the bad. You can't be the guy going around saying, well, in the United States, we have this and this and this. Can you imagine how annoying that would get after a while? It'd be kind of like having a house guest and, they come visit me in upstate New York and they're from, we'll say San Diego. This comes to mind. And when they get there, without really knowing the area, knowing what we had and what we didn't have, well, in San Diego, we have this, this, and this. And I had to hear that for an entire weekend. It was my ex-wife's relative. And, and I got so sick. I couldn't wait for them to go. And if it wasn't for that, they were great people. They were a lot of fun. When I visited in San Diego, everything was cool. But I got so sick of hearing that. And most of the stuff, he was wrong because we had those. He just didn't know it. So you come to a place like Colombia and you're making these judgments based on the moment, what you see at that time, but you don't know what's actually there or what people actually do in every situation or how they accomplish things. And until you learn those things, you need to tread lightly. You need to go carefully. And you never want to be the guy who's constantly saying, that. I mean, to say it once in a while, it can be appropriate. Depends on the level of the friend that you're with. I've got one friend I actually tease all the time. We make a joke. Well, in the United States, and I don't even say anything after that. It's just a joke. It's like, oh, here it comes. Well, in the U.S., we do such and such. but it's a joke, and I would never do that in general. So, you know, okay, I'm beating this to death, but this is a really important point about living in another country. Be yourself, but be aware and always understand that there's so much that you don't know that can take years to learn. And that's why you go to a place like Ecuador, why so many people after the first year leave. They get there and it's like, oh my God, you know, it's like honeymoon time. But then after a year comes around, their leases are expiring and they've seen all the warts and scars and the ugliness and, you know, the oppression and all the things that go on there. And they say, I'm getting the hell out of here. I never want to come back, you know, because all of those things they didn't know. They weren't aware of those things. And in time, they come to learn those things. I was fortunate in having been to Colombia before and having all kinds of issues. And then when I came back, so many of those issues are no longer here. And then also coming from Ecuador, where there's so many issues, you know, it was like, oh my God, I've landed in paradise. You know, I can't even put together a top 10 list of things I hate here, because there's nothing I hate. So I'm scrambling to find 4 things that I don't like. But that's me. You might come here and you might hate this, this, and this, and that's how it goes. But anyway, be aware of society, how they do things, and at all times, be polite and do things politely. Don't assume you know. I've told you twice now the story about how I unintentionally cheated a taxi driver because I didn't understand something. So don't put yourself in that spot. Don't be me. Okay, that's it. We're going to end it here. Thank you for the contributions. I got 4 today. I really appreciate it. It ran kind of long. It's unusual for us, but I think the apartment time was well spent, and now it's time for me to stop blabbing. I'll see you next Sunday.